Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to America in October. There's been a few tournaments going on. Apologies if I sound a bit weird. I've just got a little ulcer developing down there, which is rather painful. Anyway, let's get on with it. So there's been a few tournaments in October. In the States, this video we're just going to cover essentially tournament and list reviews in the United States of America, and let's get into it. So, the Old World GT at Michigan took place at the start of the month. 5-round, 2,500 point limit. Pardon me, tournament. And well done to John Onto, Jonah Schult, and Joshua Via for taking that. Tomb King, High Elves, Kingdom of Bretonia. It almost looks like last year's meta. There's some Cathay down there, managing 4 wins. Nicholas Shillanek, managed to get 4th place with Wood Elves, which is pretty impressive. Another good performance from, I think Todd McGee's got a few results with Wolves of the Sea, so that's nice to see. And 26 people turned up, Empire Man and Dark Elves down the bottom, which is not surprising. Anyway, let's have a look at these lists at the top and see if there's anything exciting in them, or whether it's just, all good tournament lists are exciting, but some are more exciting. Right. Weird. Right, so we've got Tomb King on foot with Fthax's Blades of Justice and a bedazzling helm, which is quite interesting. Khemri, where's all my Khemri lists? Oh, I haven't got a Khemri list. I thought I did have. I thought I had loads. Oh yeah, they're there. Idiota. Right. What's the Blades of Fthax? Yeah. +1 attack for each rank enemy unit. So he's strength 5 with AP 1. Does require 2 hands, but can grant quite a few extra attacks, considering a Tomb King starts with 4. So if your opponent's got like 5 or 6 ranks, that's obviously going to go in a big block of infantry somewhere. Probably the Tomb Guard, you'd imagine. Couple of single chariots, some carrion to hunt war machines, a couple of Tomb Scorpions, some Bow Shabti, Casket of Souls. Yeah, pretty decent list. Sorry, my shoulder's absolutely killing me today for absolutely no reason. He's got a Necrotect in there with the Spell Eater Axe. I'm not sure why it's got the Spell Eater Axe, but I guess it's a relatively cheap magic item that can do something. Pretty much negates the whip though, but anyway, and I don't know which one. Basically, so the Necrotect has an ability which means if you successfully pass a leadership test, the unit gets +1 attack and can reroll hits. It basically gets Frenzy and Hatred, but it's not Frenzy and Hatred because it's not, but it is, but it's not. So yeah, he's got a couple of big units of infantry there. Tomb Guard are excellent. Again, the toughness 4, which does make a huge difference on toughness 3. Hence it being pointed so highly. And then with this Tomb King in, and probably a Necrotect and something else. What are we up to? 26, 27, 28. Maybe even a BSB and a Mortuary Priest. Yeah, maybe all 4 of those characters go in there and make it a 30. And you have a 6x5 block sort of thing. Maybe. I don't know. Or 3x10. And then this is kind of a bit of a blocking unit. And some annoying stuff. Lots of war machine sort of hunters. That's going to be good for shooting dragons and monsters and things. So, yeah, pretty decent list. Not surprised it did well. Then the high elf list, Jonah Schult. He's got a Dragon Prince coming in at 500 points. I guess there was a limit of 500 points per character or something like that. Then he's got an Archmage on a steed. He's got a Noble BSB on a Griffin. You see this quite a lot, actually. This particular combat. Maybe not the Charmed Shield, but, Seed of Rebirth, Opal Amulet, Griffin, Noble, BSB. You see that a fair old amount. Some Valerian Reavers, because they're the only light cavalry you've got. They're not very good in terms of light cavalry, but they are light cavalry, and therefore you need them, because you do need some light cavalry in High Elves. Unless you've taken the Crace list, but that obviates the need for light cavalry, because of because it's got other stuff going on that does a better job of that kind of, being hypermobile and a bit of a nuisance. And then Seaguard Archers, Swordmasters, not a big unit, and some War Lions. Yeah, there's nothing in there that sticks out to me as being OP, unbalanced, broken, anything like that. It all seems like he's got some pretty decent stuff. He's got the Razor Standard on the Seaguard, which is very sensible. So, decent list. Nothing game breaking, and well done, Jonah, for finishing second. Joshi Wire. Apologies. Has some Bretonians. He's got a Duke on a Pegasus. He's got a BSB Paladin on a Warhorse with Virtue of Knightly Temper. Interesting. And the Gromwell Great Helm, which again is interesting. He's got a level 4 Prophetess. Just take Elise, right? She's so good. Damsel, he's got 17 Knights of the Realm on foot. Does the Damsel go in there? Make it 18? 6x3? Dunno. He's got some Men-at-Arms, which are just basically a speed bump. He's got some Mounted Knights of the Realm, a couple of Bowmans. It's a relatively small unit of Pegasus Knights, given it's 2,500 points. He's got some Questing Knights, who are awful, but he's got some anyway. I think taking them in a unit of 3 is quite characterful and quite cool. He's got 6 Grail Knights are great. They do suffer a little bit with charging like characters on monsters, because they can all accept a challenge. So basically you can blunt them by issuing challenges over and over and over and over again. I do think the challenge mechanic needs changing a little bit somehow. I'm not sure how I'd change it, but it does seem to me that like certain characters just get away with being charged by these and like Blood Knights, and to an extent Chosen, because like they've always got a champion. So you charge your like really heavy hitting cavalry into a unit of like, let's say, a balloon, and then only your champion can attack because there's a challenge, and you haven't got enough troops that you can reject the challenge and kick him out the back. But then equally, why would you accept that challenge anyway? So I think like challenges need to like refusing a challenge needs to have much less of a penalty than it does at present. Exactly how you do that in rules, I don't know. I mean, to me, I'd give the players like an incentive to do a challenge, like it helps both players, for instance. Which is why a challenge happens, because in reality, if somebody was, if you're in a unit of like, if you're on horseback, right, with a lance and with a block of mates, and you're charging at some irritating little shites with long rifles on the floor who are, shooting at you, and one of them steps forwards and says, I challenge you to, you're just going to kill that, and then, do you know what I mean? But, there's certain mechanics I don't really like in the game, and that's one of them. I don't think the challenge mechanic is fair at the moment, but anyway, it is what it is. And he's got 2 trebuchets, which I guess for 100 points each, they're not terrible. And if you've got 2,500, makes sense to have a couple. You know, might do a bit of damage. You know, certainly, certainly will make your opponent think before moving stuff, just in case, just in case. So yeah, well done to John, Jonah, and Joshua, all the J's. LVO took place over the same weekend. That was another. This is a 2,000.5 game tournament. They had 39 people turn up, which makes it one of the biggest so far. Kevin, Andrea, and Cameron managed to take the top. 2 Grand Cathay lists and an Orc and Goblin list, which is quite interesting. Down the bottom, we've got some Wood Elves, some Lizardmen, and some High Elves down there, which is unfortunate. Anyway, let's have a look at Cam's list. He's got Night Goblins, big bosses, 4 of them, because he wants 4 units of Night Goblin mobs, because he's going maximum Fanatic. He's gone for 12 Fanatic, absolute legend. He's then got an Orc Boys unit, presumably for the Weird Knob to go in, because I think they get, Orcs get bonus to casting because, or something. What the hell is it? It's an Orc Weird Knob, and it's got, is it Mob Rule? +1 to cast if they're in unit strength 10 or more. So it's basically the same as the Zinch ability. So yeah, that's got a unit strength of 20, obviously. So he's going to be getting +3 to cast effectively. And he's got a Lore Familiar with Elementalism. So there's a spell in Elementalism that he really wants to get off. What might it be? Plague of Rust, perhaps? I don't know. Maybe Earthen Ramparts. I think you can probably cast that on Fanatics, can't you? You can only move 1, but still, that's quite good. Yeah, other than that, I don't really know what he wants to do. Interesting. Yeah, you got this Holy Within, basically, now on that one, which is, again, interesting. Yeah, I don't really know how that's supposed to operate, what he's casting that on, really. He's got a lot of artillery, so it could be on moving those around. Or maybe moving the Mangler Squigs around, you know, if they haven't moved. You can move them basically 12, which is, they move 3d6. So on average, they should be moving like 10 or 11. But I don't know, maybe if you roll badly, they can do something there. But this list relies on a ton of Fanatics, really, doesn't it? That's the long and the short of it. And then we've got 2 Grand Cathay lists. We've got Balloons, Sugary Stuff, Jade Warriors, Ring of Jet Spam, Cannons. Yep, that list. And then Kevin has something a bit more interesting. He's got some Lancers, Warriors. He's got a balloon. He's got 2 balloons, 3 cannons, and a gatekeeper with a lance on a horse with a ring of jet. Is there a ring of jet span going on? Lancers have got 1 there. So he's got 2. So he's basically this. I'm presuming this gatekeeper goes in this unit of Jade Lancers. So you got 2 ring of jet there. Ring of jet allows you to cast. Allows you to cast. I shall tell you in a second. Unquiet Spirits with a power level of 2. Unquiet Spirits, so you need a 6. Has a 15-inch range. It's pretty decent. 3d6 strength 2. No arm saves. So that's, you know, pretty much 10. It's more or less just 2 mortal wounds, pretty much. That's basically what Unquiet Spirits is. So 2 of those, that's 4. So 4 wounds on pretty much anything is, you know, really, really, really nasty. There he's got, so he's got the gatekeeper. Oh, he's got another gatekeeper with a, oh god. So presumably both of those go in that, make it unit of 12. You got 3 rings of jet, and that basically will take down a giant in a turn, just from the ring of jet, which, you know, is a. So he's gone for ring of jet spam, cannons, and balloons, which, you know, that's Cathay at the moment. So that's that. But well done anyway. It's you know, even if you've got a good list, you've still got to actually use it and use it well. So well done to Kevin and Andrea for winning LVO there. Steel and Sorcery is a one-day tournament that took place the same weekend, start of October. Scott Schmelzer, Leon Dimasi, and Daniel Podlesiewicz. Now, is it pronounced in the Polish fashion or is it pronounced in the American fashion? Podleski? Possibly. Anyway, I apologise for butchering your name. Podlesiewicz. Leshichir. Anyway, sorry. Pardon me. Empire of Man coming third is big news, though. So well done to Dan. I don't know why I did that. So let's have a look at his list. He's got a general on a griffin, full plate, talisman of protection. Another general on a griffin with a white cloak, which is like the talisman of protection. It's 5 at ward, but I think it gives you a 3 at ward against flaming as well. And then you've got a Lector of Sigmar on a warhorse, presumably to go into some knights. Not sure he can go in the Knights of the White Wolf. Oh, there's quite a lot of Demigriff Knights. Demigriff Knights are pretty decent. So he's got 3 units of those. And any of these on a Demigriff? Just 2 Griffins, Warhorse, Pegasus. So these kind of operate on their own. And then maybe the Lector goes in that one and the Wizard goes in that one? I don't know. Interesting list, really. It's very, very mobile, getting around the table all the time and causing a lot of problems for the opponent because you've got some pretty decent, I mean, they're not game-breaking, but still pretty decent characters in terms of survivability. I mean, Griffins do spank a bit, so they're going to do a bit of damage. And then, of course, you've got the Wolf Hammers here, so these are like the perfect thump and grind kind of stuff. And then we've got lances on all these Demigriff Knights here. So these can essentially go in and do a bit of damage. And then these allowing you to choose a charge for your Knights and your Demigriffs. So really interesting list there. I'd love to know how that worked. Leon Dimasi came second with High Elves. He's got a Prince on a Dragon with 5 at regen. All the traditional dragony stuff. He's got an Archmage who's on a Phoenix, which we've seen that quite a bit actually. The mage on the Phoenix with the Dragon Prince, that seems to be a thing. I'm not sure why a Phoenix, to be honest, over pardon me, over anything else. Where's the bloody? There it is. On a. Oh no, you've got to give it. What is it? It's not that one. Is it that one? Yeah. So the Frost Art Phoenix is quite expensive. It does basically make him toughness 6. Does add 3 wounds, which is nice. It's got 4 attacks. It's a monstrous creature. Gives it full plate armor, I guess. It's got a couple of stomps, and then it's got this Blizzard aura, which means you strike last when you're in combat with it, which, you know, isn't that great for wizards because, you know, they don't dish out that much damage. But he's toughness 6. He's got the 5 at regen, 5 at ward save. You know, so he's built in a lot of protection there, and I think the Frost Art Phoenix is probably the cheapest way of getting toughness 6. Yeah, pretty decent. Then he's got some Silver Helms. They're good core choice. Got some Illyrian Reavers. Got 10 of them. They're just light cavalry. They're not very good light cavalry, but they are light cavalry, so you do kind of need them. He's got a big block of White Lions, and White Lions are great. Always have been, especially with Elven Reflexes, because on the charge, you know, they're initiative 5, remember? Because you go to initiative 1, because you got strike last because of the great weapon, but then you get +1 initiative because of the Elven thing, and then +3 maybe for charging. So that means that your great weapons are striking before everybody else is still, so that's pretty good. And a couple of Tyranno chariots, just to sort of get in the way and be a bit annoying and occasionally get a decent charge off and clear screens and all that kind of stuff. That's what they're for. So yeah, and I guess with 10 it means that they're better at hunting war machines because you might have a bit of combat res there, maybe. They are open order though, so probably not. But you might get 1 extra rank if you're lucky, and nothing's died by the time you charge in. So yeah, maybe the Reavers act as a decent screen for the Archmage, and the Silver Helms act as a decent screen for the Prince, something like that. And then you got these chariots to float around the white lines and just punish people for trying to flank it. Maybe that's what goes on there. And then we've got Wild Herd, Scott Schmelzer managing to win with this disgusting list. He's got full plate chaos armor, so that gives him a 4-up save and a 5-up ward. He's got the Black Maul, which is strength is equivalent to leadership. He's got leadership 7, I think, base, but he goes in a unit and that becomes 10. So he's basically hitting at strength 10, and it's got like AP 2 or 3 or something, and multiple wounds and whatever. Black Maul's horrible. It's a really horrible. It's a really horrible magic weapon. There we go. It is 80 points, but oh no, sorry, I'm getting confused. The Primeval Club is the strength, is leadership thing. The Black Maul is, so it essentially makes him strength 7, AP 3, extra attacks D6. If you roll 6 for the extra attacks, you -1 weapon skill for the remainder of the game, which isn't that bad a penalty, really, to be honest, because you start off with a pretty decent weapon skill of 6. Even going down to 5 isn't terrible, and of course you've got Gaze of the Gods, so there's every opportunity for you to get a +1 weapon skill from this anyway. So it's not that much of a problem. The Primeval Club's the one I like because I know it's magical, poisoned, and they hate Empire, but still you can make him strength 10, AP 3, which is pretty cool for 60 points. But it doesn't have any extra stuff. That doesn't do multiple wounds either. Which one? I thought they did have a multiple wound one. Maybe they don't. No, maybe they don't. No, I don't think they do, actually, now I've said that. Interesting. Oh, no, Hunters... Well, yeah, but I don't count. It's a bolt thrower. Right, anyway, shut up, Dan. Get on with it. So, Steel and Sorcery. So, we've got this Beast Lord that's got all that kind of stuff going on. Slug Skin is like -1 to hit or something like that. You go Great Bray Shaman on a flying carpet with the full plate. So he's got 4+ armor, 5+ ward, can cast, because it's chaos armor, can cast spells and wear it. He's got Hag Tree Fetish, Law of Primal Magic as well, so Primal Magic's pretty decent. Synergizes very well with Beastman. You've got Wargore BSB on foot with the full plate chaos armor again. And then you've got, I don't think full plate chaos armor should be extremely common, to be honest, for Beastman, but anyway, it is. A couple of Bray Shaman as well I mean, this is a Vile Tide Doom stack, really, isn't it? It's trying to get as many Vile Tide going off as possible. Then we've got a Primal Warherd, which are excellent, one of the best units in the game, hands down. And then he's got some more on Gores, Tuskor Chariot, stuff to just gum up the table and make sure the opponent can't move very far. Allowing him to get a decent charge in with the Dragon Ogres, allowing him to flank with the Harpies, and this stuff just kind of gets in the way. And Razor Gore Herds, just one of them is pretty nasty. They're really good. They come in at your core choice. You can have just one of them. You know, they got movement 7. They do have swift stride, so like 16-inch threat range. And when they hit, they get D3 strength 5 hits. I think they hit at impact hits of their impact hits have AP 1, so the Razor Tusks give it AP 1 in combat, but also I thought the impact hits did hit at AP 1. Obviously they don't, but anyway, still for 50 points, it's really good for clearing screens. It's a small base size as well. It's what is it, 50 by 75, so it's like a normal cavalry base. In fact, it's the smaller because it's 30. Oh, it's 30 by 60 is the. So it's slightly larger than your normal. It's about, I think it might be that size. I'm not sure, but still, it can fit through stuff fit through gaps, hunt down characters and all the stuff. So Razor Gores on their own are really super good. Yeah, and so you got a Vile Tide Doom stack. You got a Beast Lord who's an absolute monster in combat. He's on a chariot as well. Oh, I didn't spot that. That's really interesting. So, that's less optimal. I thought you'd have wanted him in the primal, but I guess he's probably gonna be countercharging and having enough stuff to go up the table so he can get some really good charges off. Yeah, okay, I can see that. I can see that. Yeah. And these two are on foot to hover around. Oh, sorry, my back is still killing me. Old World Lazarus Games RTT. I know this is a small tournament. The only thing I wanted to look at was the Lizardman faction, who managed to get a couple of wins here. It's a 2,000 point list. He's gone for an Old Blood, a Chief, a Slan Mage Priest. You don't see Slan Mage Priests particularly often. But he's gone for General BSB on the Slan Mage Priest, and then he's got an Old Blood on foot, Skink Chief on a Ripidactyl, some Ripidactyls. I didn't think Ripidactyls were any good. Lizardman players out there, please comment down below and let me know whether you agree with me or not. And then, what do you think to this list in general? I quite like the Temple Guard. I think that's good, particularly with the Slan Mage Priest, especially as it's Renegades, because the Slan Mage Priest can now go in that unit and continue to be a nightmare, despite the fact that he's basically he's in combat, but he isn't. So he's very difficult to handle, and he's got an engine in the gods for +1 to cast. So that one's got getting a +3, +4, I think maybe to cast already. So that's a really good spellcaster, and he's gone for high magic. Presumably because he wants to be ethereal every now and again. He's gone for Lore Familiar, so there's a spell there that he wants. So presumably the ethereal spell is what he's really after, to make a big block of ethereal Temple Guard and make himself ethereal as well. So that's a really good combo there. So well done, Greg and Frenchie and Michael and Ross and Sean and Dan. Why not? Right, the Gathering Storm took place a couple of weekends ago. 5-round tournament, 1,000 points. I'm not going to look at the lists, but it's nice to see Ogres and Empire and Tomb. Well, not two. Well, it's well done, Norbert. No shade on you, but Tomb Kings, we see them on the podiums all the time. Seeing Empire and Ogres, nice to see, even though it's 1,000 points. But well done to those guys. Getting 18 people to turn up for a 1,000-point 5-round tournament over 2 days is pretty decent. Although I wonder why they went for 1,000 points. I'm just interested by that because, I wonder why 1,000 points. But anyway, table size maybe, I don't know. Then again, a couple of weeks ago, you had the Old World RTT, the Owl tournament, which there's been loads of these. They've gone for 2,500 points over in California. Jonathan, Leo, and Eric coming top 3, Orcs and Goblins, Warriors of Chaos and Wolves of the Sea, respectively. Well done to those. Eric seems to have got most tournament points at 46, but seems to have ended up 3rd for some reason. So so the points are the tiebreaker, aren't they? So these Leo and John got 3 wins each, but John got more points. So that's how that's all worked out. But anyway, Orc and Goblins, Night Goblins, Fanatics. Yeah, it's that kind of list again. It's lots of War Machines, lots of Night Goblins, lots of Fanatics, just doing hella damage all the time whilst you're coming in, and then you got to wade through a wall of about 12 Fanatics to get to the Night Goblins, and only then, if you get through all that, then you win, because what's behind the Fanatic wall is just trash, really. It's not trash, but it's incredibly squishy, and will run away pretty much straight away. So once you get through the Fanatics, you are gold. But looks like nobody did. Warriors of Chaos. Ooh, the Cult of Survivors. 17 years ago, the empires of Man, Bretonnia and Cathay penned a much-praised treaty, which, amongst many other banal matters of state, limited trade to the Barrow Isles off the Norscan coast. Famine followed as their fishing boats were scuttled and the small ships bringing potatoes and cabbage were confiscated at port. Many died. Previously untouched by chaos and faced with extinction, the tribe elders signed a pact with a demon sorcerer, committing their peoples to 9 years of servitude in exchange for survival. The demon upheld its end of the bargain by cursing the people of the Barrow Isles to gradually transform into dust as they age, no longer requiring food but living as little more than souls trapped in armour. Should the pact ever not be renewed, only oblivion awaits. Now their tribes are travelling south into the Empire in search of a cure and vengeful for the famine inflicted upon them. Nice. Warriors of Chaos, Chaos Lord on Dragon. 5. Oh, no limits on points. Well, maybe there was actually, because if it's 25% point limit and we've got that, then it's what is it? 625, isn't it? Is it 65? 65, 1250. Yeah, 65. So yeah, he's probably still a little bit limited, but still he's got a Lord on a Dragon, which he's given a Mark of Zinch to rather than Nurgle, which is quite nice. You don't see that very often. And then Enchanting Aura, the way it's worth 2 in the bin. Enchanting Aura, the way it's worth 2 in a bin. Enchanting Aura. I don't get that at all. But yeah, we've got level 4 Mark of Zinch, Skull of Catan, which gives him +1 to cast and anybody near him. Then he's got a couple of other sorcerers with other bits and bobs, basically. That help out with casting and -1 to hit and blah 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 blah. Then he's got a big unit of warriors with Zinch. He's going for basically a magic missile spam because the Zinch magic missile again is D6 +3 strength 4 AP2 hits. It's an 18-inch range, so it's got a decent range, decent effect, and yeah, that's what this list is essentially going to spam those out of this unit of. That's on foot as well, isn't it? Yeah. So because there's Mark of Zinch and they're in a unit that's got a unit strength of 10 or more, this is going to be casting, because it'll be close to the Skull of Catan, this is going to be casting at +3, +3 and +4. So really good casting bonuses here by chucking them all in this big unit of Chaos Warriors. Of course, that also makes it then 28, so that means you've got a 7x4 block. He's then got a Warp Filer Wizard that he's given a level 1 to, and Demonology, because the signature spell, I think, is the Summoning, which is a pretty decent magic missile. I think, I can't remember. I need a wizard. You're a wizard, Harry. Yeah, it's the Summoning, which is 2d6 strength 4 AP1, which is pretty nice. So there's a lot of really good decent magic missiles coming out of this list, and he's got the Stone Thrower on the Warpfire Dragon as well, and he's got a big regenerating 5-up Spawn of Chaos just to go around and do a bit of cause a bit of nuisance. I tend to put my gigantic spawn on the flanks, to be honest, and I find that they do best there when they're out of range of most stuff and sort of, you know, in a bit of an annoying spot. Often weirdly, your enemies forget about them because they move, like you might roll like terrible movement dice the first time around, and then, you know, after that, pardon me, after that, then you know, people just rolled 11, but people just rolled 14. There we go, rolled a 4. So, you know, you could roll like a 4 in your first turn, and then you roll a 6 in your second turn, and people think, oh, well, that's not that bad, is it? And then next turn you roll an 18 and manage to charge halfway across the table. So that's what Gigantic Spawn do. And they're pretty decent in combat as well, and they regen health, and they've got loads of stuff going on, which makes them really decent. And they're cheap, so I really like them. I really like that list as well. So well done, Leo. And let's have a look at the Walls of the Sea list. He's got a Lord on a Dragon with Ogre Blade. He's really gone into that Lord, hasn't he? Favour of the Gods there. Not a lot of defence, really. So, I mean, I say not a lot of defence. It's got a 3-up save, which is the maximum for a monstrous mount. He's got a 5-up ward save because he's a Chaos Lord. That's inbuilt. He's then got 2. Brazen Collar gives him armour resistance 2, or maybe even 3. Ogre Blade for more damage. Acid Ichor, not sure about that. I mean, it does, like, I think a strength 3 hit for every wound it takes. I think it's got to be in a challenge as well. Sorry, strength 4 AP2. Okay. I mean, and as a Chaos Lord on a Dragon, he has got he is the only character in the game that is unit strength 10 because he's got 10 wounds, and monster takes it. So he still gets that particular bonus. So you've got to do, like, you know, if wounds in a challenge, you've got to take like 9 strength 4 AP2 hits. I guess Acid Ichor is probably worth it on that. He's got a ton of Marauders doing maraudery bits. He's got a couple of units of Berserkers. who are like skirmishy, ambushery sort of things. So they'll come on later and cause a bit of a nuisance. I mean, you don't have to put them in ambush, of course. You can just use them as skirmishers. However, you shove them in ambush and they become really good war machine hunters. So actually, against the against the fanatic list, these would be brilliant because they could just come on the back and just start eating war machines. 2 gigantic spawns of Nurgle, because that's the only one that you can choose, because you really do need the regen. They die super quick if you don't have the regen. It's got a couple of units of Dragon Ogres and some Marauders. So no Skin Walls, actually. I'd have thought you'd have Skin Walls instead of Dragon Ogres. Why Dragon Ogres instead of Skin Walls? Interesting. Don't know. Answers on a postcard. But yeah, cool. That's the Owl. Then we had our last weekend. Atomic Empire one day. Jade Fleet managed to win. Let's see what we've got. Sugar, Balloon. Gate Master on a Warhorse. I don't know what that's for, to be honest. This Gate Master's throwing me a little bit. That's a bit odd. But then he's got 10... Oh, no, there are some Lancers, sorry. So he goes in the Lancers. He's not gone for the... the Ring of Magic Missile spam. He's not gone for that. But we do have 2 cannons. We do have 2 balloons. We've then got 2 Captains of the Empire. One on a Warhorse with twice blessed armor. Don't know what that does. I mean, none of the Empire stuff's very good, so I don't really care. And then we've got a captain on foot with the dragon bow. Dragon bow is quite useful. So basically these 2 can kind of... This captain will probably hang out around the Jade Lancers and make them reroll ones to hit or something like that. I forget what the effect is. And the captain of the Empire will probably hang around with near the Jade Warriors and boost that up. And then you got ground cannons and a couple of balloons to do a ton of range damage. So yeah, pretty standard Cathay list. Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot more of this kind of Orc and Goblin list in particular, because it's got game against balloons basically. That's why greenskins are kind of migrating to that, because the other thing about fanatics is, of course, they can't be targeted, so the balloons and the cannons can't do anything about them. They can't deliberately target them with like cannon fire or anything. So they're probably quite decent, and all the artillery might kill 1 balloon a turn. So excellent news. Rumble on the Rivers 2025 took place last weekend. There's no lists, but I just wanted to say congrats to Ryan, Robert and John for podiuming that event. So well done. And then finally in the States, is Old World Gaming Tournament. Some of them, although they say finished, they don't seem to have any players in them, so I don't really know what's going on. That one says 14. I'm sure when I clicked on that last, nothing. Full Mall, is there? Okay, well that did... I don't know what happened there. Right, so there's 2 more actually. Troy Tran won with Skaven Renegades. Again, didn't he win a tournament last month as well? Warlord, Grey Seer level 4, Plague Priest, Chieftain with Swift Stride Banner, Storm Vermin, Grand Banner of Superiority. You see this combo quite a lot, these 2 going together. Grand Banner of Superiority. What does that give you? I tend to give them extra D3. I guess, yeah, the BSB having that, and I'm going to stop recording in a bit because my shoulder is hurting so much right now. It's a couple of rattling guns on the clan rats. As per another video elsewhere, you don't want the rattling guns on here. You want these in these clan rat units because they can sort of shield the rattling guns a bit longer and attempt to get a bit more value for your points out of them. They do need to be shooting. at least four to 5 times in a game in order to get your points back on the Rattling gun and the clan rats. So in order for you to pretty much guarantee getting your points back, you need to be shooting for about 3 or 4 times in a game with a Rattling gun. So it's all about trying to maximise the amount of occasions on which you can shoot with them, and having them as a detachment to a unit that's going to get charged is absolutely perfect because you get a free shot with them. And also your opponent can't then overrun into your Rattling gun because of, where you've positioned stuff. So, because you position stuff. You've got a Plague Monks with a Razor Standard. That's quite interesting because Plague Monks have like loads and loads of attacks. They're all frenzied and all that kind of stuff. So, where are they? Here we go. So you got 1 attack. They've got 2 hand weapons. They've got frenzy. So they've basically got 3 attacks base. So, having loads and loads of attacks, 6s to wound, doing AP2 is a pretty decent, set of... You've just got to make sure they get the charge off, and putting a Plague Priest in there, on a Plague Furnace, with the Renegade stuff being able to go in the unit as well is pretty cool. And the Plague Furnace has some pretty decent rules. In fact, I'm thinking about this now. This is possibly worth considering, because maybe people won't target the Plague Furnace because it's got other stuff to... It's not that good that it's worth spending a turn shooting cannons at, really. But it does have a great sensor. Stomp has AP2. Oh, yeah, and then I guess with Razor Standard would apply to this as well. So its Stomp attacks could be AP4. And while within 3 inches, enemy units are -1 toughness, which is pretty decent, which really does stack quite well with the Cloud of Corruption, which is, another -1 tough. So you could have -2 toughness, loads and loads of weak attacks, but loads and loads of attacks that on 6s to wound do an extra AP2. I quite like that, actually. That makes a lot of sense to me. It'd just be a case of wielding it on the tabletop. He's then got very little real range threat, though. He's got a couple of Hell Pit Abominations, some Gutter Runners. The poison attacks have been nerfed, so they're not that good anymore. 12 attacks, hitting on 6s, +2 to wound. So you get 2, it might do 1 wound to a dragon every turn, or like 2 or 3 wounds to another unit. Not really that good anymore, but... yeah, decent list though. I like it. I like more Scryer. Scryer's my, I like stuff that blows up. We've got a Slayer host. Not seen those on the podium yet. So we've got Demon Slayer, Rune of the Dishonored. Yeah. So Rune of the Dishonored basically means you only get victory points if these don't die. Right? So this is basically, by doing this, you can only really get 1,400 victory points, right? Because these are going to get thrown into combat, and if they kill a load of stuff, then great. But really, what the Slayer host wants these to do is die. So then you don't get victory points for them. He'll then probably... Oh, holy fuck. They obviously didn't have any limit on units. But what he's done is he's taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 725 points. Add this. So that's 1,325 points. So if you kill the Demon Slayers and the Doom Seekers, which... he will engineer that you do. This stuff all goes at the front, right, in one big wave, and then all the stuff at the back. So basically, once you've chewed through all that other stuff that you've got to kill, in order to get to the stuff where you can score points, this is a really, really smart list. However, I think, special units I thought we were limiting to 3, so there should really only be 3 Doom Seekers. How many did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's not even like he's gone for 4 as 1. He's got... Anyway, but... I mean, well done to John for looking at the tournament pack and sorting it out, because this is absolute genius. Yeah, really, really good. because basically you've got this skirmish screen of all the Doom Seekers in front of the army with the two like massive with the two like horrible massive demon slayers. Sorry, I just caught it. With the two horrible massive demon slayers, and then basically you're going to force your opponent to charge through that to get to the stuff that they then get victory points for. So then essentially you're limiting them to about 600 victory points of stuff. Because everything else is basically dead. So that's a really, really difficult list to beat because of that. It's such a kind of it's a very sort of negative play experience sort of army, but it does present a really different challenge, and I'm keen to see that kind of thing develop at tournaments because I think it's really cool. And then because it's a different dynamic, right? And then you've got Chris, who's got some dwarves. Big unit of Iron Drakes. I mean, Drake guns are excellent, but big unit of Iron Drakes might be worth doing that nowadays. Actually, with the way things are going. Don't know about the Grudge Thrower. I think they're rubbish. Gyrocopters are decent. Rangers are decent. Longbeards are pretty good. And then he's got some interesting characters. So, no Anvil. No Anvil. No. I mean, yeah, there's going to be a ton of damage kicked out by the Iron Drakes, but I don't really know what the rest of it's for. To be honest. He hasn't even got a dwarf cart, so there's not a lot of manoeuvre. I mean, yeah, he's done really well to get some good results with that list because it's he's not made his life easy. But well done, Chris, John, and Troy. And then finally, Full Maul. Full Maul. Yes, but they've misspelt it. Or have they? They spelt full like Maul, hasn't it? But Maul's M-A-U-L, isn't it, I think? Anyway, shut up, Dan. So, yeah, this is why I didn't look at it, because they've all come up as draws. So we don't really know what went on. We just know, well done to Chris, Jeremiah, and Michael for podiuming that. Ogre Kingdom's getting a podium is worthy of comment. We've got Tyrant, Butcher, both on foot. Is this a small? Oh, it's 1,200 points. That's why. Oh, that's also why I didn't want to. Yeah, you'll see why I was looking for Luna in a sec. So yeah, that's the States. That's what's happened over October. Has there been much change over the month? Well, Ryan Boaz has managed to pop up 18 points on the Masters ranking, which is fantastic. For him, that's knocked a few people down. John Onto, has come up 16 places and is now 8th. And Leo Carson has managed to pop up 18 positions and get 10th, which has knocked a few people down a few positions, but still Phil, Carl and Kevin top 2 in the States in terms of the Masters rankings. Andrea Nini, we saw get a good result this month and yet still come down a little bit. So, it just goes to show that you need to try and target the bigger tournaments to get up the Masters ranking. And Gary Nagel finishing out the top 20, but he's come down 6 this time. Andrew Lyricus managing to come up 27 positions, and get in the top 20. Garrett Sorensen again also, and Nico Bukhari managing to get into the top 20 there in terms of Masters positions. So there's a bit of movement going on in the States at the moment, but not really at the top. I was looking for Luna Valentine, who last year was like the best player in the world for quite a considerable amount of time. And then just seemingly disappeared. So I hope she's okay and everything's going all right. And, but if anybody knows, again, pop a comment down below. Hopefully she's just moved to a different game system because this one's obviously too easy for her. But, we'll see. Anyway, that's the States. I've been going on for about 50 minutes. If you've liked the video, please feel free to show your appreciation using the appropriate methodology. i.e. That sort of button. That's the facility provided to you. Um, and also, if you've got this far, you probably should subscribe. But that's completely down to you. Anyway, I hope you found this interesting and useful. Please comment down below if I've got anything wrong. I love to be wrong because that means I'm learning. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I shall see you again soon. Toodaloo.